everyone, welcome to Lauren's Scrapplot. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I am excited to welcome you to this week's edition of Show Me How It's Done. So every Tuesday at noon I like to post a project of something that I've been working on or a product that I've been playing with. And this week I'm playing with the Extraordinary Flora bundle and washi tape. I did play with this a few weeks ago as well, so if you love this project and you want more ideas, you're always welcome to check out my video logs and see what I've done in the past. So the Extraordinary Flora bundle is a little bit unique in the fact that this stamp set, these flowers and leaves, are all one large piece. So I'm going to use those today, both in an embossing, dry embossing and a heat embossing method. And I hope you stick around to see how I finish the card off with some of the washi tape and the all-in-one die as well. So we've got a few sentiments here, but of course you can always sub in with something else from your collection if you have an occasion that you need a different sort of sentiment for. But let's get crafting. I have all the measurements for you listed in the description, or you're welcome, of course, to pause the video at any point and just cut your pieces so you can join me for this card. So I have two options in front of me, mostly because the Extraordinary Flora washi tape comes in two different color schemes. So the first set will offer you a strawberry slush flower. The second one is Petunia Pop. So when you get this roll of Extraordinary washi tape, you're going to see there's about, a 5.5-inch section of flowers and leaves. This would all constitute as one pass through your die, and it would cut out all of these flowers and leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mount this onto a piece of white paper. You can also use a window sheet if you're interested, and then if I opened up more, you could see there's the strawberry slush. So I would grab a piece of white and kind of cut along this line here just to grab one section of washi tape. And just for time's sake and for you guys, so you don't get dizzy, this is what it would look like. I mentioned the white is what I'm preferring today, but of course a window sheet would give you a little bit more of a translucent look, and that might be what you're going for in your projects as well. So I'm going to cut this near the end because I don't want to lose all of the pieces this cuts out. You'll notice here I'm using actually only 4 of the pieces from this set, but if you join me next week for another video, I will show you how to use the rest. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel and please click that like button. I really do appreciate your support, and even a comment or a like goes a long way just to support me and to help me keep these videos going for you. So I'm putting that aside. Because these flowers are the Petunia Pop set, I'm going to go with a Petunia Pop card base. So I'll move this one out of the way. Of course, you can always come back and do the strawberry slush on your own. So I've got a nice card base here. It's going to measure 5.5 by 8.5, and I did a score mark right down the middle at 4 1/4. So that we have something on the inside to write with, I cut myself a piece of basic white. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and that is a little smaller than what I usually do, but I liked the fact that I could see so much of the border around it, so I just decided to trim it down a little bit for today's project here. If you prefer the smaller border, then the 4 by 5 1/4 is going to be the measurement you're looking for. Now later on, you are more than welcome to come back and decorate the inside of the card, and maybe you want to use some of those extra floral pieces to decorate in here. That's great. I'm just going to leave it blank for now, just so that it's easy for me to come back to later. Now on the front of my card, before I do any other details, I'm going to add a tiny bit of stamping in the background here, just to bring my card to life a little bit. So I have mounted my giant stamp here. You are going to need either block F, or if you have the old Stamparatus or some similar tool, you'll need that for this stamp set, but it is well worth it, I promise you. So we're going to ink up with Versamark. Versamark's that magic ink that basically can be used on any color of cardstock to change it to a slightly darker color. And because I was playing with both Strawberry Slush and Petunia Pop, for my projects, I didn't want to have to mix colors in between. Now my stamp's going to go straight across the middle. I know that most of the stuff in the center here is not going to end up getting shown, but it does give me a really nice border when you're up close. If you prefer, you can stamp the whole background and have a very, very subtle background there too. So see, super, super subtle, but very, very pretty. Now, while your ink is out, we're gonna start stamping and actually heat embossing on this focal piece of paper. So I'm moving this to the side. It needs a few minutes to dry, and we're gonna bring in another piece of Petunia Pop, or whatever your background color is. This will measure 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now on this piece, we're going to heat emboss and dry emboss, both on the same sheet. So we're going to start with our heat embossing just because we have the ink all ready to go. So bring that stamp right back to your workspace, and you're going to ink it up once again with first mark. This time you do need to have embossing powder ready. So I'm going to use the basics white, but of course you could use gold, silver, black, whatever you want. It's a really, really fun technique to add some details. So I'm going to move that to the top now. I don't think I need it. And bring my little tray over. Pardon my really, really old bottle, but it still works for me. So there we go. We're going to pour out our white embossing powder into the tray here. Turn it over and just give it a little flick on the back. And of course, this set does come with a brush if you do feel the need to brush any excess off. It also comes with an embossing buddy, which I conveniently have over there, but I use that a lot if I'm using like a window sheet or vellum to heat emboss on, because you don't want any extra sticking on there. Now this we need to heat. So the key with heating is just to make sure that you don't have this dull powdery look anymore. You want to heat basically until it's shiny, and that's when you're going to know it's done, and you need to make sure to move on to the next part. So you won't be able to hear me while I'm heating, but I will stop halfway through to show you the difference. I'm gonna pause there for a second. Whoops, dropping things. Hopefully you can see the top and the left-hand side of my project. They are very shiny and ready to go. This bottom leaf and the bottom of this guy, they're still rather dull. So I don't want to brush them, I don't want to touch them, because they're still loose powder. So we'll go back and try again. There we go. I am pretty happy with that. Sorry, gotta fix my chair. There we go. There we are. So that is the heat embossing portion. Now we're going to dry emboss, and that is basically just referring to using an embossing folder of your choice. So I've grabbed one of the new sets from our online exclusive. It's a mini embossing folder called Glass and Gardens, I believe, and it comes with a rose strip as well. But in order to only do half of our project, we're going to feed the paper into the top of this. Make sure the Stampin' Up logo is facing up towards you, otherwise you'll get kind of the indented look, which is fine, it'll look great too, but this is what we want to pass through our embossing folder. We're not going to emboss any of this part up in the top here. So let me grab my machine. Close your eyes if you have motion sick, and I'll I'll try to walk you through how we do this one. So this is not a 3D embossing folder. So what we're going to need to grab is our main base platform. That's platform number 1. And your 2 clear platforms. You don't need that little shim in the middle. So we've got 1 clear platform. You can see that. This is where we're going to put our embossing piece down. And then we'll put the second one over top and roll this through. While I have my machine out, I might as well go ahead and cut those flowers since they are mounted and ready to go. But you're going to want to keep a nice little bowl or something to the side so that you don't lose them. Okay, so we need to put this little shim number 2 back in place because you need it for die cutting. So we've got main platform, the little shim, we've got that clear plate, and then we're going to bring in this guy and the all-in-one die to go over top. So if I move you up a little bit, would that help potentially? Okay, here we go. Then I'm going to rest this right over top. It is directional, so of course if I had it upside down, things wouldn't line up. So we're going to turn it around. Sorry, I'm probably yelling at you because I'm right by the microphone now. There we go. I'm going to line that up, put my other clear plate over top, and roll these through. But like I said, be very careful with all these pieces. You don't want any of them running away on you. So make sure they can go in a nice little pile or something beside you. So the pieces I'm going to use are this long one. Just rest it right over top. This branchy kind of leaf. The large double flower with 2 different kinds of leaves. And the daisies. All these other pieces come back next week. I'm going to show you a project that uses all of the rest of them. So setting that to the side, resetting my workspace. Here we go. Okay, so we have our little platform here. We have all of our little leaves. We're going to start building our image. So this is getting popped up on dimensionals. You want to grab a bunch of dimensionals for the perimeter so it stays nice and sturdy on your project. It will go just right in the center of your paper here. Now, in order to kind of trick our recipient's eyes, we're going to put a little strip of cardstock in between our 2 embossing techniques. That will cover up this awkward transition section. And so you're going to cut yourself a piece of Summer Splash that's 3/8 of an inch by 3 7/8. I know that's odd, but you want it just shy of the card and kind of going over top of the middle there as well. So this piece I am also popping up on dimensionals. I'm going to grab, I have a lot of edge pieces on this one. Let's find, there we go. Some good dimensionals here. I'm just putting dimensionals in the center part. I don't need anything along the edges because of course those are hanging off. So just in the center, like so. And covering up that weird space. The next thing that I'm going to start adding is the flower details. Okay, so I'm going to start with this main flower. And because I don't want it to look topsy-turvy, I'm going to only put dimensionals on top of my little cardstock strip right here. That will hold the flower in place. and it will help it not to bend over because of the weird piece under it. Okay, so we've got a nice little flower just kind of resting along the right hand side. Then I'm going to grab this long skinny one, and again, mini dimensionals in behind it. It's going to be perfect. 1, 2. We'll stick just right behind that main flower. We've got the large leaf. Go. Tucking that also in behind. And last but not least, we have these little daisies. So it's up to you. You can pop them up on dimensionals, but I kind of wanted a little bit of dimension on the project, so I want these flat. I'm actually just going to put a little bit of glue, tiny bit, tucked in the back there, and pop these in behind that big flower. I wanted kind of 3 layers of dimension in here. There. Last but not least, we are going to add a sentiment. So I didn't quite know which sentiment you guys would pick, if you wanted congratulations with love, or if you even wanted to swap out for something else. So I'm going to suggest you cut yourself a piece of white that's about 3/8 of an inch by 2, and then we'll cut it down if we need to as well. So I'm doing with love and pecan pie ink. That color will go with both of your color schemes. And because this is a larger piece, I'm simply going to stamp towards the right-hand side. Congratulations would have fit on this one as well. And then I'm going to trim the extra off just with my pair of scissors at a little bit of an angle. So, little angle, snip. And we're going to pop this right over top of this space here. The easiest thing to do is probably just to add a little bit of glue. You don't really even need a dimensional for it, just a tiny bit of glue, and it'll stick in that groove there. With love. And there's your card. See, 2 embossing techniques, 1 beautiful card that you can do in both color schemes. Now, just to give you a little scale with this washi tape, I have hosted, I used it at my July monthly card club. So if you're in Canada and you're interested in that, you get a free kit if you place a $40 order on my website. That's of course before shipping and GST, but you get a free set of cards with a video. And I prepped 50 kits using this washi tape, and there is still stuff on the roll. So it is a great set for you to look at. Currently the washi tape is out of stock, but it's set to come back within a couple weeks. So you can just put this on your wish list and add it later, but the bundle's available now, which is awesome, and it is in the annual catalog, so we'll have plenty of time to order it and play with it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, because along with these Tuesday videos, I'm also participating in the Great North American Stamping Show every Thursday evening, and we have lots of other projects for you guys there. See you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.